everyone, and welcome to today's afternoon session, Innovation and Exploration for Climate Action. Thank you all for coming here today. Today's session is going to be a kickstart of a collaboration between the university and Climate Impulse, charting a new frontier in climate innovation. Climate Impulse and UM6P's partnership to pioneer the future of aviation and clean technology, an optimistic pathway to reducing emissions in an industry that's not urgently need to cut emissions, but also we're going to hear an incredible launch of something that we can look forward to in the future of aviation. So it is my pleasure to introduce our speakers. Our first speaker is a serial explorer, a psychiatric doctor, and a pioneer of clean technologies who combines innovation and adventure to meet the major challenges of our time. It is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Bertrand Piccard. And our second speaker, we know him well, the president of UM6P, Hicham El Habti. But first, we will hear from a short film.
In this world full of eco-depression and eco-anxiety, we need to restore hope. We need to show that action is possible. This is why Raphael Denele and I, we want to fly around the world in a hydrogen-powered airplane with absolutely zero emissions. We want to give an impulse for climate action and show that nothing is impossible if you have the right technology and if your goal is really about improving quality of life on Earth. Today, with Climate Impulse, it's very clear that the goal is to make a revolution in the world of aviation, to show how we can decarbonize aviation. And if it's possible up there in the sky, of course it's possible in all the other sectors everywhere.
Good afternoon to everyone. You know, when 2 weeks ago I visited the labs of the university together with Hicham, there's something that really moved me. It's the light in the eyes and the face of the students. Because for them, nothing is taken for granted. It's a fantastic opportunity. They have the opportunity of their life in this polytechnic university to do something useful, to do something exciting. So partnering with UM6P and Hicham, his students, all his professors, is something that is absolutely unbelievable. It's the beginning of a collaboration that will last for years, but actually it's a collaboration with Morocco that has started already 12 years ago when the solar-powered airplane, Solar Impulse, came to Morocco, crossing the Gibraltar Strait. Can you imagine that? With an experimental prototype flying only on solar energy. When you are in this plane flying very slowly with absolutely no pollution, you see the coast of Europe, you see the coast of Morocco, crossing the water, and coming to the country that was at the time starting to build the biggest solar power plant in the world. Flying over Casablanca, arriving late evening over Rabat, and landing with an absolutely incredible welcome. There should be the sound. I don't know why we have no sound.
Bonjour le Maroc. Bonjour. Merci pour votre accueil.
what was fantastic there was to see that in Europe they were starting to stop the subsidies for renewable energies. They were doubting if it was the right choice to do. And here in Morocco, we already were met by OCP, who is part of this partnership, the triangle between the university, Solar Impulse, Science Co, and OCP. And we brought to Ouarzazate the first symbolic solar cell that would be installed on the power plant. And you know, at that moment, and this is something that was so interesting, the population of Morocco, where they had no access to electricity, wanted to have power lines bringing electricity like in Europe. And they did not want to have solar power because they thought it was not trendy. And after this flight of Solar Impulse, bringing officially the first solar cell, the same villagers came back to the Moroccan authorities and said, now we understood, if we want to be modern, we need solar power. And this changed completely the mindset of the population. And this is why His Majesty the King asked me to be the patron of the solar power plant, Noor 1, and make all these events with the youth. In Ouarzazate, there were thousands of people from all the villages who came to see Solar Impulse with passion, with enlightenment, you know. And this is what we want to continue at the level of the students in the university, Mohammed VI Polytechnic. This transfer of technology, because the Solar Impulse Foundation has identified 1,600 technical solutions that protect the environment in an economically profitable way. So we're going to bring these solutions here because, as you all know, the wish of King Mohammed VI is to have Morocco as the door open for Africa, for the global south. So what better channel can we have to collaborate, bring solutions, fight climate change, but in a passionate way? Not to say, as we heard this morning, you cannot develop yourself, you have to respect nature, climate change. No, we can combine technological development, economical development, educational development, and this is what we are going to do in the following years. So, of course, the flight of Solar Impulse continued. We flew around the world in this solar-powered airplane. We ended up in Abu Dhabi. That was the takeoff and the final destination. But there is one thing I'd like to share with you because it is more than just the record or the first or the media attention. It's this feeling of flying with zero pollution, no noise, no fuel, and being able to fly as long as I wanted. That's what the world can do today. You know, it is not the future, it is the present. It's what the technologies of today allow us to do today. So can you imagine the gap, the frustration to fly with the most modern airplane and to land in the world of the past? Each landing was going back to a world that was completely in the past. Our world is using thermal engines that waste 80% of the fuel you put in the tank, when the engines I had on Solar Impulse were losing only 3%. We have a world of the past with badly insulated buildings, inefficient heating, cooling, lighting systems, old industrial processes, dirty sources of fuel, and we find it normal. We find it normal because we are like fish in the water who doesn't know he's wet. We're in the world of the past and we find it normal. And this is what has to change. And this is what we really need to understand today. The problem of environment and climate change does not come because we live too well. It comes because we are still using completely outdated systems that were invented in the beginning of the oil era 120 years ago. So today, we have to find solutions. And this is what we've been working on with the Solar Impulse Foundation, and that's what we're going to continue together with your university, with the students, with the UCP, going into renewable energies, going into hydrogen, going into energy efficiency. That means to modernize our world by making it more efficient. We identified, and this is why I love that slide, we identified 1,600 solutions. Every little word there is a system, a product, a material, a device, an infrastructure, a software that allows us to reduce the waste. When I say to be more efficient, it means that we can achieve better by consuming less, producing less waste, stopping this depletion of natural resources, this depletion of energy. Because 3/4 of the energy produced in the world today is lost because we're completely outdated and obsolete. So we see how good we can do, but now we have to understand that if we want to change everything that is old by something that is modern and efficient, it's either too expensive or maybe it's profitable. And in this case, it becomes the biggest market opportunity of the century. So this is what we've been studying. All these solutions here are economically profitable. They create jobs. They allow new business opportunities. They allow the people using these technologies to save money, to stop wasting, to have a lower OPEX that allows to invest into the CAPEX. So all these things now have to be known, have to be implemented. And we would like to show all these solutions under a flagship that is spectacular. Because if you speak to people about the future, you need to give them the wish for pioneering spirit. You need to give them the wish to do better than what they think. So we have designed a hydrogen-powered airplane, as you've seen in the film, that is today under construction. And this plane has to fly around the world non-stop with zero emissions in 2028. People can think it's impossible. Yes, a lot of people think it's impossible. You even have people who start to write in the newspaper, this can never happen. Exactly like in the beginning of aviation, when it was scientifically proven that a heavier than air could never fly. Like at the beginning of the mobile phones, when there were people writing in the media, there will never be enough antennas everywhere to have mobile phones. Now we have airplanes, we have mobile phones. We just need also clean aviation. We need a hydrogen industry. So it's, of course, not hydrogen only for airplanes. It's hydrogen for the industry. If OCP is involved in this partnership, it's because we need also hydrogen for fertilizers, for the industry, for the steel manufacture, for everything, basically. Of course, green hydrogen. So you use the sun and the wind, like these big programs are done now in Morocco, to electrolyze water. You put the electricity through the water to cut it into oxygen and hydrogen. You keep the hydrogen, which is completely decarbonized, and then you can put it through fuel cells to reconstitute electricity and water, and you get the electricity for the electric motors. But you can have them also to propel a boat, a train, heavy truck, or whatever. But for this to happen, you need to give the wish to do it, because if you have no consumers, you'll have no producers, and if you have no producers, you'll have no consumers. So you need to create this enthusiasm again around this clean energy, and we believe that an airplane like this, flying around the world, can be the flagship of climate action, can be the flagship of a new type of education, a new type of pioneering spirit. So the plane is a bit strange because you need these two fuselage in order to put the liquid hydrogen tanks, minus 253 degrees, really cold, close to the absolute zero. And like this, we can fly normally, that's what we have calculated, 9 days. 9 days non-stop, and this will be all around the world. So we have signed already with ScienceCo, chemical company giving us all the materials for the future. We've signed with Breitling, the watch company, because we need a timekeeper, and we need friends. Breitling is the one who allowed me to fly around the world non-stop in the balloon 25 years ago. So you see, I'm very loyal to the people who supported me in the past. We have now this partnership with OCP and UM6P. The construction will last for the next 2 years. Then we'll have training flights, test flights, and that will be, for me, a highlight because the plane is built in France, but of course, we're going to have long-haul training flights, so we'll come over Morocco, that's for sure. And then 2028, the flight around the world. And then I would tend to say the project will start and not end. Because after you've done something so spectacular, the goal is to have more people doing it, is to do better, is to implement these technologies absolutely everywhere. And for this, the students who have worked with us for the 4 years of the flight, they will be engineers at that moment. And they will be the ambassadors in all the countries where they come from to spread this message of pioneering like a prism. You know, you have, in the prism, you have a light coming, it arrives in the crystal, and it diffracts the light in all the directions. This is what we want. Not just stay between us, but have everybody have access to it. So the plane doesn't exist yet. This is why we show the shadow on the Earth, on all the landscapes of the Earth. But together we'll make it a reality. And with you all, we'll make it a way to make the world a better place with clean energy, with pioneering spirit, modernizing all the infrastructure to make a profitable climate action that will federate people together instead of putting them apart as we are seeing today. Today, I think the most beautiful adventure of the 21st century is to care about nature, but in a logical way, not only ecological way, logical way, economical way, a fair transition. That means, as the title of this forum is called, a fair transition, because we need to give access of this technology to absolutely everybody. So you understand why I'm enthusiastic. And Hicham, thanks to you, we are moving ahead.
Thank you so much, Bertrand. So, yeah, so I will share one small story about, not about this project, but just a link with that. So it was a few years ago, I think 3 years ago, during an event called the Science Week here at UM6P, there was a presentation of the former MD of Luckness, so about space. And we asked the student if they were interested in building the first Moroccan microsatellite. So just 2 or 3 of these guys were in, and by today, I think we have more than 70 students. It's a student project. They are mentored by professors from different departments, from the material department, from the physics, from the computer science, and other departments. So the idea here was, are we crazy enough to launch this challenge and to see if our student could be in? And we were more than amazed by their enthusiasm about that. So when we were invited to join this great project, which is Climate Impulse, which is crazy project, as Bertrand just said, there was no second of hesitation to jump in. And we are more than honored and humbled to see that, this is a new way of transition between the North and the South, as we are the only academic institutions partnering with the Climate Impulse, and this institution is from Africa. So why this project is important to UM6P? First, this is the technologies of tomorrow, and this is the philosophy we are embodying here at UM6P, is this spirit of forward-looking. So we don't take into account what are the today challenges, but we are thinking We are closing our eyes, we are imagining the future, and from that we are building the path. Second, this is a great opportunity for our community of students to be part of just a crazy project, so in different areas. And 2 weeks ago, we had the opportunity to have Bertrand with us, and we saw all the departments that will be involved. And this is where we are lucky to be a comprehensive university with many departments from different areas who will be involved in this project. The physics, the IoT, the computer science, the hydrogen, the material, and other departments. Why the hydrogen is important to UM6P? Bertrand said that OCP was involved even in the solar impulse, because when Bertrand came to Morocco, he was I think he was hosted by OCP. OCP, as you know, has just launched a huge green CapEx program where the hydrogen is a big part of this initiative. Our aim here at UM6P is to work hand in hand with OCP Group to develop sovereign technologies here in Africa to lower the cost and to have the energy of the future available to everyone. The idea here to work with Bertrand within this project is to enhance our capabilities in terms of research and development, and to give the opportunity to the students, to the researchers, to the faculty to be in touch in a network of expertise here and there. The second thing about this hydrogen is the fact that we are at the same level than the other countries. So we are not lagging behind anyone. So this is a great opportunity to be at the forefront in terms of research. Bertrand said, and this is for me the best testimony we could have from someone who came and visited our labs, is about the lightening the energy from the students. So I'm inviting you, if you have some time, to go and to visit our hydrogen lab. You will see about 40 young PhD students, mainly female students, working on all the value chain of the hydrogen, from the harvesting of the green energy to the electrolyzers to the storage of green hydrogen. So for them, for these students, this is a great opportunity to go beyond what they are working on in the labs and to see one of the applications of this green hydrogen as an energy vector. Third, having this opportunity for people outside our community. And I like the picture of Bertrand with the youth here in Morocco after the solar impulse. This is one of the missions UM6P wants to play here in Morocco. Inviting you, if you are here by Wednesday, in 2 days, you will see more than 100 young children from 12 to 14 years old. So each week we are inviting these youth to come visit UM6P, to be in touch with the researchers, just to give them this idea about science, about how science could change their lives, about how science could shape the future. The fact that we are partnering with Bertrand, with whom we are sharing exactly the same values, will give us the opportunity to share more with this youth all around Morocco and all around Africa. As you know, we are opening our first branch in Africa in Yamoussoukro next September, and it will be, and it's about the digital farming, but next to that, we'll have the equivalent of our green energy park, and it will be the opportunity for our sisters and brothers in Côte d'Ivoire to have access to these technologies. So this is why it was important for UM6P, OCP, to partner with Bertrand and with ScienceQ in this great project, which is Climate Impulse. And I want to thank you, Bertrand, for your trust and for giving us this opportunity to be at the forefront of science. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much to our incredible audience for sitting with us, and to our speakers, Mr. Piccard. Hopefully someday we can fly a green hydrogen flight to a future Paris Peace Forum meeting and into Morocco. As an explorer myself, it is incredibly heartening to know that someday we can fly sustainably. And so from one explorer to another, a big salute to you. An applause for Mr. Piccard, please. And of course, to President El Habti, thank you so much for creating a frontier of including young people and building spaces for students and professors and academia to shape and build the future that we want to see. It is incredibly inspiring to see how progressive your leadership at the university is. And of course, please, an applause.
Thank you.
So with that marks the end of today's session on climate impulse, innovation and exploration, and the incredibly revolutionary launch of green hydrogen technology flights. So thank you all for watching, and please do stay tuned for future updates from our speakers today, and we hope you have a good rest of your conference.